So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist in Am I the Antagonist for saving one sister's life and not the other? So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing down below and turning the notifications on. As DecoyNoise has hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, I'd like to say that the comment section here has become far superior and diverse than what is happening on Reddit. So if you want to get in on that discussion, see the drama unfold here as well, make sure you subscribe and kind of check out those videos very early. So let's just get to this thread right now. So there is an edit, but let's read that at the end after we do Decoy Court. So OP writes, unlike most insane titles on the sub, this one isn't hyperbolic, unfortunately. So OP is a 22-year-old female. She has little identical twin half-sisters that are both 16, who both have serious kidney issues. They both have sadly reached a point where, without a kidney transplant, their quality of life will continue to decline, and they might not see each other's to the other side of 20. They might not see the other side of 20. Obviously, myself and my mom are devastated with this news. It wasn't expected that they would be in this position so young. For some background, one of my sisters, Sarah, is very much the tomboy like me. We are really close and enjoy a lot of the same things. We are like two peas in a pod. That's not to say I don't love my other sister, Jade, but we simply aren't as close. She's a little more girly, doesn't have very many shared interests as me and Sarah, and we just do not hang out as often. I also don't see Jade as much in general. Sarah doesn't like her dad's wife, and so she spends less time with them, while Jade adores her, so she has always spent more time at her dad's place. Both my mom and their dad, and both the girls were totally happy with this setup. Jade also begged to go to a particular boarding school, so I don't see her nearly as much as Sarah, nor have I for a very long time. Maybe one weekend a month for the last couple of years, and some more over summer and holidays. I still love her dearly, but I hope it's understandable now that I'm much more closer with Sarah. We were both equally close until Jade started doing her own thing and making choices for herself. And I don't in any way begrudge that. I would just say me and Jade don't get along. But there have definitely been some big spats over the years. We all got tested to see if we would be possible to be live donations, and I'm the only match. Unfortunately, I only have 2 kidneys. I can only save one of my sisters. There's every chance they might get a kidney from somewhere else, but right now they aren't on a priority and they aren't high on the transplant list. I basically told my mom, who told their dad, that I want to donate my kidney to Sarah. I thought about it so much. I know this means I'm undeniably saying I love Sarah more than I love Jade. And I guess I do. Unsurprisingly, all hell broke loose about how could I do this to Jade? How could I be so cruel? Why would I do this? How can I just play with their lives? I've been getting calls and texts from everyone who knows about this. As far as I know, neither Jade or Sarah have been told. I get it. I'm playing God here, but it's my kidney. I feel like scum for choosing one sister over the other, but one is my best friend and the other is, well, not. I feel like a monster for saying it, and I know on the fundamental level it's wrong. Part of me wanted to flip a coin or something, but I couldn't. My whole family seems to be demonizing me for making this choice. So if it's confusing, the character count cut me off. So before we get to the edit on top and also on the bottom, I can go ahead and say, take it to Decoy Court, where I'm going to give my knee-jerk reaction. Also give them the Decoy Defense, where I'm going to give both ends of it if I can. But I mean, I don't need to give a kidney up. I don't have twin sisters, so I may not be the best input on this. But the one thing I would say is, OP doesn't need to give anything at all. If OP doesn't want to go through, like what I learned in that other situation where they talked about kidney and liver transplants, is kidney transplants put you out for the year, and it's much harder on the person donating the kidney than it is receiving it. So if OP doesn't want to potentially die, lose a year of their life, and what I understand is they'll never be able to have children of their own, if she doesn't want all those implications, she could say no. So just the simple fact that she's the match and she's willing to actually donate it should make her immune from the whole negative backlash. And it's kind of a bizarre thing, but everybody talks about, like, you know, giving people the autonomy. She's an adult, but why are we dictating what she does with her body? Like, is this a situation where we need to say, okay, you know what? We can't be unfair to one of the twin sisters, so give her both the kidneys and you die. Like, it makes no sense. Like, there's no good outcome from this. And sad to say, this is reality for them. This is a kindergarten where we just try to be fair, like, oh, we'll split it for you guys. There's not enough. This isn't right and wrong. This is ethics, competing values of justice, and it's up to her. She can do whatever she wants. And I can see where OP's coming from, in the sense where she doesn't want to feel like she's going to punish Jade for her personality. Just because you like girly things and wanted to go to boarding school, you don't get a kidney. That's not what it is. It's just a person making a choice, having a rough situation. And it's hard to say, like, just to keep on going back on one thing, but it's her choice. She can do whatever the heck she wants to do, and that's the end of it. But I mean, I always like to try to be more detailed with my arguments. And also, so let's go decoy defense as to why everybody would be blasting her so bad. And I feel like, in their defense, no matter what choice OP made, she was going to get yelled at. If she was willing to be the match, she just found herself at the wrong place in the wrong time. If she chose Jade over Sarah, they probably would be yelling at her too. How could you do this? How could you do this to Sarah? Oh my God, like, she's been like your sister this entire time and you're totally turning your back on her. Like, no matter what, it was going to be bad for her. And what I'm kind of seeing this is they can't yell at, like, you know, the kidney failure. They can't yell at their mortality, but they can yell at OP. And honestly, it might even be therapeutic for them, where they can't just sit there and send nasty text messages and yell and demonize the whole kidney failure, but they can do it to OP like, you're doing this. It isn't the situation, it's you. You could reverse this, but you aren't. And that's why OP says, like, I feel like I'm playing God, but it's not. It's just like she's trying to make the best of the situation. So as opposed to saying, like, let's go ahead and say the decoy coin, where I'm going to reward the best comment to make me change my mind or anything, how about we just figure out what's the best solution? What would be the best way to go about this? Because that would be the more beneficial thing to say at this point in time, because I see no clear-cut good solution other than OP doing exactly what she wants to do. But what would be the best situation for Jade? So I mean, you know, we'll take a short break. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. But let's go ahead and go to that top edit. Hopefully that's the one that's chronologically correct or in order. But OP says, I'm not ignoring you guys. I got a big old ban for arguing with some antagonist who repeatedly called me a liar. I'm still reading every comment that comes in and really listening to them. To the people who pointed out the complete kidney failure isn't necessarily a death sentence, thank you for the hope you're giving me. I knew they would be able to get dialysis. I had no idea there was a long-term solution, so thank you for reaching out. So okay, that was I guess too many posts down there made it so she couldn't reply anymore. So she's saying that she is. And then so this is the next edit. Currently, their doctors can't tell who would deteriorate faster. They're currently at similar stages, and their most recent results have given no insight into whether or not Sarah or Jade will be worse off. Only time will tell, but the current treatments are harsh on their outer organs, so there is an element of urgency that makes us reluctant just to wait and see who gets sicker faster. If it came down to Jade needing a kidney next week and Sarah not needing one until next year, I would obviously donate to Jade and hold out hope Sarah will get another donor. I have suggested setting up a donor chain to my mom, but this all happened recently, so it's still up in the air. I've only been confirmed as a match, and I haven't passed through all the other checkpoints and testing. There's a very real chance I can't donate at all in the end, which is why I only told my mom and not my sisters about how I felt. To be explicitly clear, as this question comes up a lot, I do not think either deserves to die. Their parents are undeniably advocating for me to choose Jade, who has, in quote, such a bright future, but they haven't said it explicitly. I'm not choosing Sarah because she deserves it. I'm choosing Sarah because I want to save her life. Jade has always been, shall we say, unkind to a lot of people, and her dad has always acted like that was her right. If I could save both, I would. If I can only save one, and the doctors have no explicit results to say one needs it urgently, I would choose to save the one I love, not just the one I share blood with. I personally think I'm the antagonist. I think if you look past to the kudos for trying to donate a kidney, I think I'm doing something wrong. It just isn't enough to make me change how I feel, and I was hoping to get an impartial insight here, as obviously I can't get one for my family. Which is very true. She seems very genuine in the situation that she wants to do the best, but the one thing I'll say right here is, if she thinks that the part of this is Jade has a better future, went to boarding school, has more of a, I don't know, like beyond that, like maybe a brighter future, and that's what they say, like they want to give her a bigger chance. It's like, okay, cool. You want to give her a bigger chance, you boots on the ground, go out there and find that extra kidney. I know that's a very, very callous way to think about it, but I always hate how it's like, I can't do anything about it, so I need you to do something about it. And if you're not doing exactly the right way I perceive, then I'm gonna berate you this entire time. How dare you not do it exactly how I would do it, even though I'm not doing it. I know that's a weird way to phrase it, but just I want to have the back of OP here saying, choose whatever you want. Obviously, she said that if only one of them needed it, she would still do it that way, but you can't blame somebody. Like, it's, I'm not saying that Jade is a stranger, but one of them is her best friend. Like, if you really think about it, they say, like, you know, that's why you give it to family, and like that's why it's more important, but it's, OP probably thinks if she gives it to Jade, she's gonna have all the negative consequences of giving up a kidney and likely never see her again in her life. And then if she gives it to Sarah, they're going to be family forever. Who knows? You know, the people change after they grow up, but it is it's a no-win situation. So like I said, if you have a good theoretical outcome for this, let me know in the comments below. But let's go ahead and look at that top comment right now. No antagonist here. It's a crappy situation. Assuming both of their health risks are similar, then I don't see a problem choosing one. And I also understand why everyone is freaking out, but it probably would have been better to lie and say you flipped a coin because Jade is going to be heartbroken when she finds out, if she doesn't already know, which she probably does since other people know. True. And OP came back and said, currently they have the same risks and are deteriorating at the same rate. There's no apparent medical basis to choose one or the other, which is why it's so hard. If Jade had weeks and Sarah had years, it would be a no-brainer. Frankly, had I said I flipped a coin, I think they would have gone ape crap because I made a life decision on a coin flip. It feels like people are pissed with mine because I only have one kidney going to spare. That one hurts me the most. I think that I'm being judged for choosing Sarah, but I kind of think that because Jade is a golden child, she has been an absolute superstar at everything she does. She really is and works really hard at it too. Sarah's a bit of more reserved and quiet, and while she doesn't do poorly, she isn't a straight A student either. I think the term is wallflower, apparently. But she certainly has never been doted on as much as Jade. This favoritism is part of the reason Sarah doesn't go to her dad's. My gut is telling people are more devastated that the good child is the one not being picked, and it makes me sick to think that I have said I had chose Jade because people would have called me a hero. Nobody has really talked about how else I should have picked, like flipping a coin or asking the doctors. Everyone keeps focusing on how I should pick Sarah over Jade. Why don't I love Jade? Why does Jade deserve to die? And the edit, to be clear, I don't believe Sarah deserves to live any more than Jade. It's entirely my decision on who I want for myself to live more. I don't want Jade to die, but I want Sarah to die less. My point about what other people are saying is that their own parents are acting like Jade deserves my kidney more because she has a bright future. Which is true, and the thing is, so a lot of these Am I the Antagonist threads don't go based on liability and right and wrong, it goes on victimhood. So everybody wants to side on the person that gets screwed over the most in it. So whether it was Jade or Sarah, it's always like, well, look at the person that's being injured the most, why don't you care about them? Well, you need to stick up for them, and it's like, no, reality is reality. Like, bad things happen, so you can't blame somebody outside of the situation. They can only do so much. You can only save one. So at a risk of saying other things that is kind of like, you know, in a circle, let's just go ahead and go to those controversial comments. But the only thing I can think about from that situation is, why isn't anybody thinking about the Sarah? Like, Jade is the superstar A+ student, but so OP says, I think Sarah deserves to live more than Jade because Sarah has the better personality, the more compatible personality, and everybody else is saying, oh, she deserves to live because of her straight A's. So you're going to quantify good grades and personality as more deserving than the other? That's a terrible way to think about it. Like, there's just a victim here, and you got to, like, you know, try your best to work around it, but sometimes you have to accept it, which is very callous to say, I know. So the top controversial post was, you're the antagonist because this is fake, and whether if it's fake or not, I mean, that's not helping anything. And honestly, Reddit is about entertainment. You don't have to have like super valid 100% stories that are confirmed by 7 doctors and signed off by your local senator. Like, no, it's online stories, man. Come on, you're the person. That's the type of person that goes to r/no sleep and complains like, that doesn't sound possible. I don't believe that. But okay, so the next top controversial post is, you're the antagonist. I get that it's a tough situation all around and that you prefer one sister over the other, but you handled this badly. First, there was no need for you to say that you would donate to one over the other. You would donate to Jade if she needed it, and Sarah didn't. So why did you feel the need to explicitly state a preference? If it came down to both need it now or they will die, you should have told your sisters you were doing a coin toss or something, even if it was a lie. There was no need to make a bad situation worse by choosing a sister when there was no need to do so. And I think it's more bad that the mother leaked that information out. Like the OP's having a conversation with the mom saying, hey, I'm not going to tell them, but that's who I would save. So you're saying that because somebody's feelings would get hurt, and this is more than feelings, this somebody's going to be like, you know, devastated by this, but if someone gets hurt by it, you need to internalize everything. Like, OP's going through this as well. OP's definitely going to lose one of her sisters and go through a very, very hard operation. Why is everybody just discounting that because someone is going through something worse? Like, you don't want to play the one-upsmanship with grief and sadness. That's a bad way to go about it, and I can kind of see why that would be a controversial reply. But let's see the reply to that controversial reply. She did say that she didn't tell the sisters. She could say it's still a coin toss. Either way, people's feelings get absolutely destroyed. It's a messy situation to be in, and while I agree with OP that waiting probably was the worst thing they could do right now. Anyways, it's not like she can choose both or anything. What's she supposed to do? Give nobody a kidney? There's no right solution unless you can kindly provide one. And that's why I say, like in other situations where it's easy for us to sit back here and judge them from outside because we have no of the negative implications. We just kind of type some stuff and push enter and not think about it for the rest of our lives. That's why I kind of want to give them the decoy court, decoy defense, and just try to see all the different facets of it and read these controversial replies because we often see other things, but it's just a no-win situation for everybody. But let's go ahead and read one more controversial reply. Not the antagonist, but the decision of which twin gets your kidney should actually be made by their medical team. One may be more immediate need of a transplant or have health that means the outcome would be likely more favorable. If you're given the option, you can choose. And that's the thing is, yeah, you can give them the medical thing, but she can choose. It's her decision whether she wants to save the one or the other. If she has some deep-rooted resentment from when they were babies and they were playing with dolls and like, you know what, I don't like you anymore. Regardless of why she's making the decision, she's entitled for it. Like I always say, I know I'm the antagonist. I know that I'm the bad guy in some situations, but it's like I make the decisions to the best of my ability and I live with them. Do I try to be wrong and mean to anybody? No, but as long as you're doing your best to be good, that's all you can ask, because always to somebody somewhere out there you're doing the wrong thing, and then you don't know if they're really thinking their logic through. They can just be antagonists themselves. So I mean, I guess I'm preaching self-love right now. I don't know, but as always, if you made it to this far in the video, I want to say thank you for making this far, watching all this content while I'm furloughed, and just kind of interacting with me down below. I do enjoy reading these comments. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you're doing the notifications because sometimes I'll release videos and nobody knows they're up. It's bizarre the way the system works. If you haven't already, check out DecoyNoise.com for more information. Fill out the surveys, give me feedback. Check out the podcast, the audio-only version. And if anything, just put this on autoplay and tell me what's coming up next right now because we got a lot of Decoy Noise for you to watch.